Hello everyone, Weather Jamaica here. Welcome to this updated video on weather across Jamaica and the rest of the Caribbean. It is Thursday evening, August 7, 2025. Now before we jump into it, please ensure that you all like this video. I'd really appreciate it if you all get this video up to 100 likes. If you don't know by now, that's how the YouTube algorithm works. We all like the video and then the YouTube algorithm pushes the video out to more persons who are in the path of these tropical systems so that we can keep everyone safe, especially during the peak month of Atlantic hurricane season, that's August through to October. Share this video with your friends, your co-workers, your relatives, and even your church brethren, and subscribe if you haven't yet done so. Please ensure that you all utilize the progress bar that's located at the bottom of the video, as well as the timestamps that are located not only in the comment section, but the video description, so that you can skip to the points in the video that you want to see the most in order to save time, because we know that the videos over here with the Jamaica can be very long. Leave a comment down below, letting me know what the days been like in your area recently. Also, feel free to ask any weather related question that you might have about the future weather in your specific area. Alright, so we need to highlight some expert insight here, and we're going to be looking at Ben Noel's most recent post. If you don't know who Ben Noel is, he is actually a global weather writer meteorologist for the Washington Post, who from time to time makes some very accurate posts here on X about what's expected across the Atlantic in terms of tropical cyclone activity. So he stated today that after a forcing pattern that's very conducive to hurricanes in mid to late August, the JMA shows rising air returning to the Atlantic in September. This is a bit different and faster than other models, but may be a result of La Nina-like Pacific patterns, busy times ahead. And this is the map that he highlighted. So he's basically looking at the rising air in the blues and the sinking air in the oranges to the greens. And he's stating here that for the time period from August 8 now, what we should be experiencing as we speak, considering that today is August 7, so we're heading into August 8, we see a lot of sinking air expected across the Caribbean, the Gulf, into the eastern to the central Pacific. A lot of sinking air. A lot of rising air, on the other hand, is across Africa and the main development region. That should be for the time frame from August 8. Then the next time frame is August 16, and we're still seeing a lot of rising air across Africa spilling into the Indian Ocean right over here, and we still see the sinking air in the oranges and greens across the Caribbean into portions of the eastern to the central Pacific. Let us see what's expected for August 24. Look at that. The week of August 24, we're getting into the rising air period across Africa as well as across the main development region and the Caribbean. So, the rising air basically means that we're going to be having it easier for these tropical, thunderstorms to develop into tropical depressions, if not tropical storms or hurricanes in general. So it's a very interesting, pattern ahead. And even as we head into the first week of September 1st right here, we still see a lot of rising air across the Caribbean, the main development region, and Africa. It's going to be very interesting to see exactly what takes place. This is just one model, the JMA. There are other models that are showing other things expected for September. Let's see if this one is actually accurate in terms of what is expected. Taking a look at the U.S. National Hurricane Center 7-day graphical tropical weather outlook that just came out at 7:15 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, which is actually 6:15 p.m. Jamaica time. We no longer have Dexter. Dexter is no longer here. Definitely possibly dissipated. We still have that code yellow right here that has a 20% chance of cyclone formation within the next 7 days of the east coast of the US, but that's expected to push out towards the northeast. And we still have that code orange right here across the main development region, something that has a 60% chance of cyclone formation within the next 7 days. Hurricane Center stating that it could become a tropical depression as it pushes off towards the north and the west. And if we take a look at the infrared right here, we can see the clouds associated with the code yellow right here of the east coast of the US. Not really looking that impressive right now. We can also see the clouds associated with that code orange right here across the main development region. Not looking that impressive right now. Both of these entities expected to push off out to sea, and we're indeed grateful for that. No complaints here. But look across Africa, a lot of strong tropical waves getting ready to push off into the main development region. Very interesting to see exactly what takes place over the next 7 days. And whatever happens, we know that the next name after Dexter is Aaron, followed by Fernand. Let us see what actually takes place. Taking a look at the surface map of the Atlantic for this evening, we can see that we have some troughs, one right here across the northern Bahamas, another one right here across the southern Bahamas. We see that we have that tropical wave definitely highlighted, that one that the hurricane center has tagged a medium chance of development within the next 7 days. And the high pressure ridge is definitely steering it off towards the northwest for sure. And if we take a look at the visible satellite images of the Atlantic before we lost sunlight, we can make out the clouds associated with the trough, definitely affecting Florida as we speak. Some clouds right here associated with the other trough, and the clouds associated with that tropical wave. Not looking really that impressive, but we see the clouds right in here definitely pushing from south to north within the possible center of circulation, trying to get its act together. For sure, the usual thunderstorm activity across northern South America into Trinidad and Tobago as we speak down in there. We'll be talking more about the rest of the Caribbean weather later on. Let us focus our attention on the prediction that was made in yesterday's video about the weather across Jamaica for today, Thursday, August 7, 2025. It was stated that rainfall could have been in the forecast of parts of some central and western parishes on a Thursday afternoon. Now we know central parishes, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Middlesex like St. Anne, St. Mary, Manchester, Clarendon, St. Catherine. Western parishes, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Cornwall like Hanover, St. James, Trelawney, Westmoreland and St. Elizabeth. And what ended up happening? I actually got some rainfall in my part of St. Thomas this morning in the late morning hours, somewhere between 11:30 and a bit after 12 p.m. Definitely got some decent rainfall. That's the most decent rainfall I've gotten in my area since April, and I'm grateful for that. And we even had some rainfall in the Portland area because a post was made here on our Twitter page at around 10:45 a.m. And keep in mind that these posts aren't only made here on our Twitter page with the Jamaica, but they're also made on our Instagram page with the Jamaica, on our TikTok page with the Jamaica, and on our Facebook page with the Jamaica 876. So if you have one of those social media platforms, please ensure that you follow us there as we make posts throughout the day that you can't afford to miss. So at around 10:45 a.m., the visible satellite image was posted and it highlighted some clouds, bringing some overcast skies, if not some isolated thunder showers, to sections of Portland. At that time, we saw the clouds, we saw the sparkling yellow dots that we know represent some amount of lightning strikes, if not lightning flashes. So Portland definitely got on the morning isolated thunder shower activity. Some of this activity spilled into sections of Kingston, St. Andrew, section of St. Thomas as well, and we were indeed grateful for that. Then by around 3:35 p.m., the infrared close-up satellite images were posted and they highlighted the cumulonimbus clouds in the blues, greens, yellows, oranges, reds and blacks. All of the thunderstorm clouds taking place, especially across central and western parishes, and we even see the sparkling white dots in there that we know represents some amount of lightning strikes, if not lightning flashes. So we definitely had that activity across sections of St. Andrew at first, then it spilled into sections of St. Catherine, Clarendon, Manchester, St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland, sections of southeastern Hanover, sections of St. James with the cloudy conditions, Trelawney, but it looks like most of the thunderstorms were, or the rainfall was more so across the southern parishes for sure at that time. And then the visible satellite imagery right here confirming all of what took place, all of the clouds building, especially across the central and western parishes, sections of St. Andrew, sections of St. Thomas, sections of southwestern Portland definitely gotten on some of the action for sure. But the infrared right here confirmed thunderstorms. We even had some thunderstorms right here across northern St. Catherine and especially across sections of St. Elizabeth, southeastern Westmoreland, as we were starting to get in on the evening hours. Even as we speak, I'm pretty sure that it's raining down there. A lot of thunderstorms as we speak across southeastern Westmoreland, sections of northwestern St. Elizabeth. And if we take a look at the live camera from C Jamaica's YouTube channel, this was around the Bagwalk Gorge at around 6:08 p.m. and we saw that we were definitely getting on some rainfall at that time, just some moderate rainfall for sure taking place around there. We see the vehicles passing through, windshield wipers definitely on for the most part, road definitely soaking wet, definitely some well-deserved rainfall around there, but not enough to cause the rear cover to be in spate at all. And I'd like for you to keep in mind that if you'd like to see more live streams like this, just visit C Jamaica on YouTube. They have these live streams all for you all to view for free, so subscribe today so that you don't miss out. Even the total accumulated precipitation for the past 24 hours from the Caribbean Institute for Meteorology and Hydrology website is confirming that we did indeed get on some amount of rainfall today across sections of Western Portland, sections of St. Andrew, sections of St. Catherine, Clarendon, St. Anne, Trelawney, sections of St. James, Hanover, Westmoreland, St. Elizabeth, Manchester. But it's a bit too north with the rainfall concentration. I bet it was a bit southward more than there. So we know that this map isn't 100% accurate, but it does paint quite the picture of where we might have had that rainfall for sure. And we definitely have some comments right here from some of our subscribers and some of our followers. We have Evangelist Stacy and Crossdale Dean stating, "Thank God Yalla's getting a little cool down." We also have Aileen Ben stating, "Get some more, and I am grateful, nice and cool here in my part of Clarendon." Franco Letman stating, "Overcast here in Mobay, no rain so far." Then Franco confirming 2 hours later, or at least 1 hour later, rain started fall right now in Montego Bay. Even on our Instagram page where the comments coming in, we have _.official_ Jenny stating heavy thunderstorm in St. Andrew. We even have Edward Stanisha stating crazy rain from after 1 until now in South Manchester. We have 876eggs _ poultry _ farm stating it's raining in Manchester. Thanks for confirming. And I guess that's it for all the comments for today. Alright, so let us reload the very latest still image from the Weather Nerds website. Let us see what's happening right now. Alright, so the latest still image, let us reload it. Let us see what's taking place now. There we go. So the latest still image is showing 23:55 UTC, which is actually 6:55 p.m. So this just came out 8 minutes ago, considering that it is 7:03 p.m. right now. And we're still getting in on some thunderstorms as we speak across northern St. Catherine, section of Manchester, section of St. James, maybe southwestern Trelawney getting in on some thunderstorms as well. Western Jamaica in general still getting in on some amount of rainfall. Let us reload the latest Cuban Doppler radar, the latest Guantanamo Bay US Navy radar, and the latest Cayman radar to confirm. Alright, looks like the Cuban Doppler radar glitched out this morning at 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually 5 a.m. Jamaica time. So let us see what metservice.gov is showing. Is their Doppler radar up and running as yet? Let's see. Alright, here we go. I think so. It looks like it's actually up and running. I really like what I'm seeing here. But I don't understand the time. Hold on, let me zoom in. It looks like the Cuban Doppler radar is, well, the Jamaican Doppler radar is actually up and running. I'm pleased to see this. It's showing in UTC time though, so we have to calculate it. You know, UTC is 5 hours behind. So if it is showing 22:42 UTC, let me see. Because I don't know. This is 23:55 UTC, the latest infrared, and that means 6:55 p.m. Jamaica time. So I wonder if it's calculating it right. Either way, I'm glad to see this. I wish it was a bit more zoomed in so we could see Jamaica even better. I don't know why it's so wide out, showing even Haiti and Cuba. We don't want to see those areas. I wish it was zoomed in some more. So I'm glad to see that the Jamaican Doppler radar is actually showing we saw some rain bands pushing in from the southeast. Look at the rainfall that was taking place across my part of St. Thomas this morning. That was good. And then some heavy rainfall, as you can see here, across sections of Manchester, St. Elizabeth. I wish we could zoom in some more. Can it? Yeah, right in there. Definitely even see the rainfall, especially across the cockpit country, pushing westward into sections of Hanover, sections of Westmoreland, right in there. I'm grateful for the Jamaican Doppler radar. I'm grateful that it's back up and running for sure. Let's pause it right at the latest. Let's see what's happening now. So the latest infrared has some clouds across, especially Western Jamaica. Is it actually in line with what we're seeing here? I think so, in a way, but maybe it's a bit like delayed because we're seeing the clouds across the far western end, but on the Doppler radar we're not really seeing that rainfall across the far western end. And it is stating 2242 UTC. Doesn't seem like it can go further. And if it's working with UTC time, it should be showing somewhere close to this 23 in the 23 hours if it's actually up to date. I don't know, maybe it's I don't even know what to say. Either way, I'm glad to see this. I just wish that they got it with the updated, you know, they not the updated, the zoomed in footage. I want to see Jamaica close up. We don't want to see Cuba, we don't want to see Haiti at all. So we're definitely going to be using the Jamaican Doppler radar some more this year if it's actually working properly. Alright, let us see what's happening on the Guantanamo Bay US Navy radar. We can actually make out some rainfall across sections of southeastern Cuba. We see some rainfall to the northeast of Portland, to the west of the western peninsula of Haiti. Regarding the Cayman radar, now this is showing that rainfall across western Jamaica. We can actually see the rain bands definitely closer to the western end of the island. Yes, it was closer to the eastern ends of Hanover and Westmoreland, but we can definitely see it pushing more so to the west of there for sure. And look at the time, it's showing 23. This is also in UTC time. So you notice the Cayman radar is showing up to 23. What's the latest time? 23:53 UTC. That's how we know that's actually in the UTC time correctly. Very good. I don't know, Jamaican Doppler radar is still in the 22s. I hope it's not that delayed. I hope it's actually more up to date as we go along. We'll see. Either way, we can actually make out the rain bands that we saw across section of western Jamaica on the Jamaican Doppler radar. Just some light to moderate rainfall in the blues and the greens. Taking a look at what's happening around the Bagua Gorge as we speak. See a truck struggling to cross the bridge, moving quite slowly, but slow and steady wins the race. Definitely some calm conditions right now. Rainfall has cooled down for sure. People in their vehicles going about their business. Nothing in the way of bad weather taking place for sure. And that should be the order of the evening. Taking a look at the temperatures right now, we can see that we're at 27 degrees Celsius in both Montego Bay and Kingston. And by about 4 a.m. on Friday, temperature should dip down to about 24 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 25 degrees Celsius in Kingston. Taking a look at the temperature forecast for tomorrow. This map from the GFS is valid for 18D on Friday, which is actually 1 p.m. on Friday. And we see Jamaica shaded in the grays and the slight blues that represents average to slightly below average temperatures. At least 1 degree Celsius below average temperature. And we know the average temperature for the month of August across Jamaica is around 91 degrees Fahrenheit. And when that's converted to degrees Celsius that we use here in Jamaica, that's around 32.8 degrees Celsius. So we should be receiving anywhere from 32.8 to 31.8 degrees Celsius at most for Jamaica's temperature on Friday. And unfortunately, we have some maintenance outage advisories here from my JPS Online Twitter page that we have to highlight. And we know that we have to highlight these because we know that when we're power outages somewhere across the island, it can definitely make the heat feel even worse because we don't have our fan or our AC to cool us down. So if you live or work in these areas, or if you have friends or relatives who live or work in these areas, please let them know that a power outage is coming their way on Friday, August 8, 2025. We're referring to a section of South Borough and Circular Road in the parish of St. Catherine from 8:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. We're also referring to East Finchley Road, South Haven in St. Thomas from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. Also Wilmington District in St. Thomas from 9:30 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. And Chrysanthemum Boulevard, our Prospect Housing Scheme in St. Thomas as well from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. And we also have Waterloo in St. Elizabeth, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Woodlawn to Georges Valley in Manchester from 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. Knockpatrick Gardens in Manchester from 10:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. Stillwell Road in St. Andrew from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Grange District or Falmouth in Trelawney from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Section of Monk Street in St. Catherine from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. We're also expecting an outage in Tripoli or Carl Rattray Training Center in St. Catherine from 9:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. Sheffield in Westmoreland from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. as well. And we have some tips right here to beat the heat as usual. It states here, seek shade when outside. Eat fresh, try eating cold foods such as salads and fruits. Rest, make sure you get enough sleep and rest if you're feeling tired. Soak, take a cool shower or a bath to help you cool down. And I cannot stress enough the importance of keeping hydrated throughout the day. Drink lots of water even if you're not thirsty, and put away those sugary drinks and drink water instead. Taking a look at the dry air map, we still see a lot of dry areas represented by the yellows, the oranges, reds, and whites within those areas, extending from Africa across the main development region into the central Caribbean. We know the dry air is responsible for keeping the atmosphere stable, making it harder for it to rain. But we like that we're seeing a lot more blues across the eastern portions of the waters to the US, or the southwestern Atlantic into the Gulf, the central to the western Caribbean, the eastern Pacific, and the intertropical convergence zone of the Atlantic. We like when we have the blues, that's the moist air, and we know wherever we have moist air, we have a lot of clouds in the whites or the grays that we know bring the rainfall, and that's what we want. We want more rainfall in our pipes for sure. But regarding the Saharan dust forecast, so we're heading into the next 3 days. We're talking about August 8, August 9, and August 10. And as you can see, Jamaica right here, we should still be getting on some slight Saharan dust in the greens into the yellows, pushing through from east to west. But what we don't like that we're seeing is this vigorous plume pushing across the main development region. I mean, look at the oranges into the pinks. That's a vigorous plume, and it's expected to make it into the eastern Caribbean area. Looks like by around August 11, August 12, and then it's going to be making its way into the Jamaica area by the time after that. So I would just hope that it is not that vigorous of a plume, because the Saharan dust can definitely cause very hazy skies, not to mention trigger respiratory illnesses in some persons. Taking a look at the wave forecast for tomorrow, still seeing that the waves, as we know, that are represented by the light shades of blues, the dark shades of blues. The lowest wave 0 to 0.5 for meter wave height till across the Gulf into the western Caribbean and the Bahamas, while the blues, we see the 1 to 1.5 meter wave height extending from the southwestern to the central and eastern Caribbean. And that's because of the winds that are expected anywhere from 5 to 10 to 15 knots, especially across the Caribbean. And if we zoom in on Jamaica regarding our waves tomorrow, to the south of St. Thomas, 0.8 of a meter wave height expected. So too to the north of Portland, 0.7 of a meter wave height to the north of St. Anne, 0.4 of a meter wave height to the south of Manchester, 0.6 of a meter wave height to the south of Westmoreland, 0.3 of a meter wave height to the north of Hanover. And that's because of the winds that are expected. The winds aren't strong at all, but they're definitely pushing in from the southeast. Look at that. From the southeast. And can you guess where the rainfall is going to be piled up tomorrow afternoon? Where is the rainfall going to be taking place? Wherever we have the least amount of winds. And that's where we could have the clouds, the low level clouds at that, becoming mid-level rain clouds, if not upper level cumulonimbus clouds. It looks like some northern and western parishes. Let us see what the actual rainfall forecast maps are showing. But upper level winds seem to be coming in from the, looks like the northeast, or the, it looks like the northeast tomorrow. So that could favor some of the clouds to be pushed out towards the south. We'll see either way. In terms of the actual rainfall for tomorrow, this map from the Euro and this map from the GFS are both showing the rainfall that's expected at around 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually 2 p.m. Jamaica time. The Euro showing rainfall across eastern, central, and western parishes as usual. Even although we definitely got some rainfall across eastern parishes today, like what the Euro predicted, the GFS didn't predict that. So we're glad for the rainfall. Either way, clearly the most rainfall should be across the northern end. We see the darkest blues up there, even in some greens. So especially sections of Hanover, St. James, Trelawney, St. Anne, St. Mary, maybe spilling into sections of St. Andrew, northern St. Catherine, section of Westmoreland, northern St. Elizabeth, getting in on some of the action. And we're grateful for whatever rainfall we get for sure. And even the total accumulated precipitation forecast maps here from the Euro and the GFS are adamant that it's going to be raining somewhere in Jamaica within the next 24 hours. The Euro going up into the yellows and the slight oranges, maybe up to 0.5 of an inch of rainfall expected. The GFS going up to 0.72 of an inch of rainfall, especially across the northern and western end. Whatever happens, we'll definitely take it. As a matter of fact, do you notice how greens and all these yellows across the waters to the south? That is because the Euro, well, the GFS, not really the Euro, was showing some early morning rainfall. Let us look, because they were showing some amount of rainfall in the early morning. We're talking about tonight into tomorrow. Look at this. This is from the GFS. This is valid for 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually 7 a.m. on Friday. And we see some rainfall across Portland, St. Thomas, maybe southern Clarendon. But does the Euro show something similar for the same time frame? Let us find 8 a.m. We see some isolated showers in the slight blues to the southwest of us, but look at the early morning hours. The early morning hours, we're seeing a lot of rainfall around us. This is 4 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually 3 a.m. Jamaica time. We see rainfall to the north, to the east, to the south of us, some of it coming on land. Let us find that same time frame on the GFS. Look at that rainfall surrounding us. So we have some consensus for some early morning rainfall, but most of us will be sleeping by then. But when the sun comes up, we don't see much rainfall after 8 a.m. It's around the 7 a.m. that we are actually getting some rainfall across the eastern end, like what we showed earlier. We'll see exactly what unfolds either way. The afternoon is definitely showing that rainfall for northern and western Jamaica. And given that the winds are coming in from the southeast, you know that whatever the morning rainfall forecasts are showing could be right. It could be a case where we get some early morning rainfall across sections of some southern and eastern parishes on Friday morning, also affecting sections of some northern and western parishes during Friday afternoon. So I guess that's going to be the forecast. We'll see how it goes. Very interesting Friday for sure. Whatever happens, we'll take it. We're in the month of August, and as you know, we usually receive an increase in the amount of rainfall that we usually receive. In Kingston, whose bar graph is being shown right here at the top, we usually receive close to 100 millimeters of rainfall for the month of August. In Montego Bay, whose bar graph is being shown right here at the bottom, we usually receive around 5 inches of rainfall for the month of August. And I would like for you to keep in mind that if you'd like to find out what your specific parish usually receives in terms of rainfall for the month of August, or for the entire year, you can visit weatherandclimate.com, and that website will show you that information. And you can use this nice graphic right here that converts rainfall from inches to millimeters. We know that 1 inch of rainfall is about the same as 25 millimeters of rainfall, so you can do the math yourself. Alright, so that's it for the forecast across Jamaica. Let us focus our attention on the rest of the basin. So as stated, we're still watching that area that has a medium chance of development across the main development region as it lifts all of the moisture up. You can definitely see the moisture lifting into that center of circulation right up here into the north, trying to get its act together and then push out towards the northwest. We're also seeing that most of the moisture is more so across the Windward Islands, Grenada, Trinidad and Tobago, Northern South America. A lot of moisture across section of Florida, the Bahamas, section of Cuba, as usual, nothing new. But regarding the Doppler radar imagery, in and around Puerto Rico, let's just look down there and see what's taking place. Alright, so near Puerto Rico, not really seeing much happening. We also see some rainfall across northeastern portion of the Dominican Republic. If we load these images from earlier today, though, we got some rainfall across northern and northwestern Puerto Rico. If we take a look at the Barbados radar, we can actually make out some light moderate rainfall pushing through. Some of it affecting sections of what do you call this island? St. Lucia, St. Vincent, the Grenadines, some rainfall to the east of Grenada pushing into Grenada. They definitely got some rainfall earlier. If we take a look at the weather view of Doppler radar images, we can see some rainfall across sections of Florida, some rainfall across central to western Cuba, the Yucatan Peninsula, northern Guatemala, Belize getting in on some of the action as well. If we also take a look, we can see some rainfall across sections of Colombia, sections of northwestern and northeastern Venezuela, sections of the Windward Islands for sure, like we mentioned. And regarding where the rainfall is expected within the next 24 hours, both maps right here from the Euro and the GFS are adamant that is going to be raining within the next 24 hours from now all the way up until 10 p.m. on Friday across areas such as Guyana, Suriname, French Guiana, Trinidad and Tobago, section of Venezuela, Colombia, Panama, Costa Rica, section of southeastern Nicaragua, Honduras, Guatemala, El Salvador, Belize, the Yucatan, definitely getting some rainfall, so too Florida, northern Bahamas, Cuba, Jamaica, Haiti, getting in some of the action, so too western Puerto Rico and Guadeloupe for sure. And we clearly see that both the Euro and the GFS models are in agreement with this forecast. We know that when they're in agreement like this, chances are higher for it to actually take place. Alright, so what's happening across the eastern to the central Pacific? Still have tropical storm Henriette right here just to the east of Hawaii, and we have tropical storm Iva right here across the waters to the southwest of Mexico. And if we take a look at the infrared, we can see Henriette right here not really looking as robust as it once was. We can see Ivo, though, a lot of convection still around its center of circulation definitely enhancing the bad weather across section of Mexico. I mean, look at all of the lightning, crazy weather over there. Regarding Henry, it's still expected to pass just to the east and then to the north of Hawaii. Look at that, it's expected to make it up to hurricane status by Monday. That's interesting, but not going to be affecting Hawaii at all. Regarding this intensity right now, we see that it's packing maximum sustained winds of 45 miles per hour, so it's definitely a tropical storm moving towards west at 16 miles per hour as we speak. Regarding tropical storm Ivo, it's a 60 mile per hour tropical storm, so it's up there in the intensity. We know that tropical storms pack winds of anywhere from 39 to 73 mile per hour wind, so if it's a 60 mile per hour tropical storm, it's definitely up there, maybe around medium range tropical storm for sure. So expected to make it up to a hurricane as it passes to the south of Cabo San Lucas by Friday into Saturday, then downgrade back to a tropical storm and a depression as it pushes off towards the west. Regarding what's happening across the western Pacific and the Indian Ocean, as a matter of fact, the southern Indian Ocean has produced a brand new tropical cyclone, and it's quite interesting that there's a tropical cyclone in the southern hemisphere because it is winter there. When it is summer here in the northern hemisphere, it is winter in the southern hemisphere, and they're actually getting in on a system down there in their winter. And that's crazy. Our winter is like from December to March. Imagine getting a storm in December to March. Like, it's not, like it's never happened before, but it's definitely rare, and they're getting in on something a bit too close for comfort right here to the northeast of Madagascar. I wonder what's going to become of it. Is there any information on it? I don't see one. I see Henriette, I see Ivo, I see Tropical Depression 15 that we're no longer looking at, and what we're really looking at is this tropical storm right here to the southeast of Japan. And if we take a look at the infrared, we can see it right in here, a very interesting tropical storm. As of right now, the Joint Typhoon Warning Center is stating that it should push off towards the west and come a bit too close for comfort to Taiwan by the 18th of, is that the 18th or is that 12th? Nope, that's the 12th of August. So that's 18Z on the 12th of August. That's 1 p.m. on the 12th, coming a bit too close for comfort to Taiwan. And look at that, it's going to have 90 knot winds, anywhere from 84 to 95 knots. Makes that category 2 hurricane. So that's going to be an interesting hurricane. Over here they call them typhoons. That's going to be a very interesting typhoon to watch. Taiwan has definitely been getting lashed by a lot of typhoons recently, and it looks like there's another one for them to receive. Either way, we'll keep an eye. And that's it for today. Thanks for watching.